Hello. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Do you have
So,
a separate, are you in a separate room? Is that where, because you got a blank wall behind you?
yeah, I'm in the, we have conference rooms and
Oh,
they
okay.
put laptops, so I'm
Oh, yeah.
upstairs.
I gotcha. I
And
gotcha.
somebody turned the computer this direction. They, they film children's things up here and all sorts.
Ah, okay. Oh, yeah, great.
So,
Hey, well, I don't know how many people we'll have. We'll see.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
fun to talk about it, I think,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah,
And
I spent a lot of time working on it, so I like to talk about it. And
yeah.
not everybody wants to talk about it.
I think people do, though. A lot of people will come in and ask for help and they get very
Oh, well, that's
addicted.
good. Good.
So, it looks like we're not going to be opening the libraries to people coming in for quite a while. So as far as your group helping up north, I don't think that'll happen for a few months at
Oh.
least.
No, I don't
Or
think so
more.
either. I don't see that happening. And I don't even know if we'll do it once the library does open. We have to, our group has to, sit down and have a talk and decide what we
Mhm.
want to do, you know?
Yeah,
There was, it was kind of, having it every week was, it was like feast or famine. Some weeks we'd have 3 or 4 people come in, and some weeks we'd go weeks without anybody coming in,
mhm.
And so it just was so variable. So we'll have to sit down and talk about it. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
It was a nice service, a really nice service, I think, for people up
yeah,
there to
yeah,
have someone.
yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, everything's topsy-turvy these days.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
I was
That's,
thinking we should think about making maybe a Facebook group. Do you ever use Facebook?
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not a big Facebook fan, but I
I,
know they have a lot of genealogy pages.
they do. They have a lot of groups, and I member several of them, but I wouldn't say active member. I just read them and see what
Me
people are
too.
talking about.
Yeah,
I don't usually post anything, so,
me too.
but they're beneficial, you know.
So I know that most of most of the people in the group are not from Door County, but I was thinking of even starting a Door County Facebook group, genealogy group, if anyone just had questions.
Sure,
That would
sure.
be another way of reaching people.
Yeah, sounds good.
But I don't know if it's worth, narrowing it down to Door County. So that's one thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could do Wisconsin, I guess.
There are
But,
Wisconsin groups out there. I don't know of any specific Door County group except for the Washington Island group that is a
oh,
closed group.
I didn't even know there was a Washington Island group.
Yeah, it's not really genealogy, but people are constantly posting pictures of their families and old pictures.
Oh, okay, okay.
So he has it, his name's Randy, I forget the last name. He used to come in all the time and research his own family. But he kept it closed because people were posting their own pictures and he wanted it, to be, they felt free to do it.
Sure,
So,
sure.
but it was probably the most active Facebook genealogy page I saw.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's kind of interesting.
that's good.
But I don't know of any Door County page. I know there's Wisconsin and different groups like that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I might just do it. I
Well,
still keep getting questions here. People will call and ask for things or send email.
do you need somebody to come and, well, you don't have the library open, so it doesn't matter. I was thinking somebody could come and work volunteer at the genealogy room there just to answer the phone or anything, but
Yeah.
that probably wouldn't be worthwhile yet, would it?
No, nobody's allowed in right now.
Right, yeah, so.
Yeah, and the first step's going to be only allowing a few people to use computers for a short time, not to browse, walk around the library. So it's going to be a while. I know we've been told no live programs all summer for sure.
Yeah, sure,
So
sure.
in the meeting rooms, everything's closed.
Yeah.
So
Yep, yep. We got everything's probably going to be that way until they have a vaccine that works.
So,
So working vaccine.
yeah.
And then there'll still be a period of time where people won't trust it.
Yeah.
But we'll get there eventually.
Yeah. So you do, I'm keeping an eye to see if anyone comes. So far, no one, but we're still
No,
5
nobody's.
minutes out.
Yeah, I know that Dave Weston, who is very active. He said he had to, at the last minute, he had to back out, but I don't know about the other ones.
Yeah,
I
we'll
sent
see.
out a note, and we'll see if anybody shows up. Maybe just you and I.
Yeah. And you are a German researcher, right? Is that,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at the,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to
Sure.
pose that question for the group. Are other people in the group a lot of German researchers?
Well, there's some, yeah. You got that breakdown.
I have this paper here.
Yeah, countries and surnames.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. German, I've got, well, Grace Bernhardt, okay. She can't make it usually during the day in the summer because she runs a nursery out of her house. And so she's working on that. Let's see, who else? Naomi and Fred, they're not really into the computer too much, so I wouldn't expect them to do too much. Who else? 23.
Have you done
Dave,
much work in Germany itself, finding records in Germany?
I've done some. I've had the most success up in the Prussia area, only because my ancestors were Lutheran up there, and there was a lot of Lutheran records that I could get to. I have not had much luck yet with records down in the Würzburg area in Bavaria, in the southern part of Germany, where my other relatives are from. And then I have to jump over into Czechoslovakia or Czech Republic for the German records, and I haven't done any of that. I got enough problem with German, let alone Czech.
Yeah.
And
well,
Polish.
I'm 50% Czech too.
Oh, so you can read? Can you read Czech?
No. My ancestors came in the 1860s and around
there you go. Yeah, see, mine came in the 1840s and 1850s. So yeah, I'm like fourth generation. So
yeah,
we didn't.
And our Germans, we have some papers from some of the Germans that came over, and that's why I'd like to really pin down more about where he actually came from and see some records from his hometown.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how to go about it. I guess the German church records are the only way, right?
Well, right. Yeah, you got to know. Yeah, if you can have an idea which village they came from, and
it's Saxony.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, especially if you sometimes in the when they did the naturalization, they'll put down where the village they were from. Not all the time. Sometimes they do. And then
I don't think he was naturalized. That's the trouble.
Yeah. Well, then
I don't know. But we have his German passport. It's called something like Heimatstadt. It was his German passport, and I think it lists a little town there, which is what we assume is where he's from. But I just don't know how to get any more information from that little town. I don't know for sure what his religion was, but I'm thinking it might be, there was the big split. This is the 1840, he came over in 1842. And I know they had the big split in the German church in 1848 or so, right? Isn't that when a bunch of people came?
Yeah, they did. They split up, and that was the first wave, I guess, of people, Germans. If you discount the first wave in the 1800s that came over, because there were some back in the 1700s too. But
so 48, I know there's a group called the 48ers in Missouri, something like that. That were
another good place is there's up in Minnesota, Minneapolis. There's the Germanic Genealogy Society up there, and they are very, very active.
I'll have to look into
and they're putting out stuff all the time on webinars and so on, and they're very active for Germany. And then there's also a subgroup of them. If you have Pomeranian, they have a subgroup two.
Steve Johnson's coming in now too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good.
go on.
They have a subgroup, a Pomeranian group. So that's what I get involved with that one, or at least I follow them closely to see what they've got. I haven't successfully gotten anything from, Bohemian yet, but I'm still working on it.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
Steve. The language is a problem with
Oh, it
Bohemians.
is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really is. In fact, the little town that my ancestor, the Dushaks, came from, I can't really find it on a map, but I found it in, believe it or not, a CIA map from the Cold War. I found the town, and there's
Wow.
a little old historic church in that town. Okay, that's a little village. It's up in the mountains, and actually, the only reason I found it was because it was CIA knew where it was.
Yeah,
Apparently,
that's
there was
interesting.
a Russian army base not too far away from it. So that's how come they knew it. So.
Yeah, we have a strange connection with some World War II German records, Nazi genealogy records.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Somebody had the last name that we are always looking for, that same one I was mentioning in Saxony.
Yeah.
And he had it on they had to apparently prove that they were.
If you wanted to be in the SS, you had, because I got the same problem or the same thing. If you wanted to be in the SS, you had to prove back 5 generations that you did not have any of the wrong blood in your ancestors, and those records supposedly exist. Those over there somewhere, and I have
They're
yet
in
to
the National Archives here. They're here.
Oh, they're here. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
That would be beneficial because that'll tell you where they are. In fact, I have an aunt, my grandfather on my mother's side. His name was Gustav Albert Labs, and it's Labs, and he died in 1941. So in the United States. But anyway, I was Googling him, and all of a sudden I saw where he was a Nazi war criminal. I should laugh. It's a serious thing.
Yeah.
But I was, oh wow, what happened here? He actually was a driver of one of the, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it, ambulances, or I'll say ambulances at the crematoriums. And so the only reason he was convicted as a war criminal, but he got leniency because he testified against all the leaders. And he actually was a relative, so wonderful, So anyway,
we heard about the Nazi records through a guy in Australia, and we don't know that we're directly related, but he had the last name that we're looking for in the same small town at about the right time that our guy left. So he had found records in these Nazi records, and so I did try to follow up on it, the cataloging of it, and they're in the National Archives. They were confiscated and brought here.
Oh.
And they're all organized there somehow. I didn't find the actual records, but I found how they were listed. So
yeah, they got the National Archives, I see, has got a new thing called the catalog online, where you can go into that and put in what you want. I haven't really looked into it too hard, but that would be beneficial, because I find the National Archives a little hard to navigate through sometimes.
Yeah, it's a massive thing, right?
It is, really, yeah.
Yeah.
We did go over a year ago, well, 2 years ago now, we went over to Germany on a river cruise. And we did go to Würzburg area, and we went to the town where my ancestors supposedly came from. And luckily we ran into the local historian. Okay. And so he showed us around, and he had all kinds of documentation on the Weissenfels, okay, from the village. And I tried to follow up, and he gave that to me, but I tried to follow up with it, and I haven't been able to make contact with him again. So I don't know what happened. I used his his email that he sent me or gave me. So I don't know. But anyway, it was very interesting. Found out that there had 2 Weisensel men that were from that village that died in World War I for the Germans and army, and then 3 that died in World War II from the village, the German army. And then I found a record that had, I think, about 30 Weisensel men from various villages in Germany who fought in World War II. And I started out thinking that they only came from this one area, this one town, and that's all there was. But apparently that's not true. They're not originally from that town. They just moved there. So they came from another place, someplace in Germany. So I've only just begun.
Yeah, I understood they couldn't move around a lot at some periods in time, and that's why they had these papers. You couldn't leave your village unless you had paperwork to prove that you weren't going to be a burden on another area. So there's some strange rules like that.
And a lot of times they didn't necessarily, when they went to come to the United States, they didn't, when they left or got to the place where they left from, departure city or town, they wouldn't necessarily say their right name because they were afraid that there would be German spies, if you will, or police there that would take them back and put them in the army during the, so a lot of things going on.
Yeah. Well,
So
well, Steve, do you want to join the conversation?
I don't know. I thought it was just a conversation with you and John.
Yeah. Well, so far we're the only ones who
I thought this was a meeting.
It was supposed to be, but we're the
I
only
got other things to do other than I've got a German ancestor that I can't find anything, and Tom might be able to help me because he's the knowledge here. My great-grandfather said they came over in 1850, 1840, ended up in Milwaukee.
Okay.
His harbor. And on the censuses, it said he came from Prussia.
Okay, yeah.
Which my understanding can be anything. It can be Poland, it can be Germany, it can be all over, depending on the period of time. And I'm thinking he thought, when he said Prussia on the census in about 1890 or 1900, he thought about it when he came over in 1850. And that might not have been Prussia in 1900. Prussia got big and small. But the only other clue I have is where one spot where he came from, Cologne, I think it was Kolongne, but I think that city is really Colon.
Right.
Koln is actually more proper. What do you know about that, Tom?
Well, I have some relatives, ancestors rather, that came from Prussia, up very close to the Baltic Sea, just to the west of where Danzig is, which of course is now in Poland. Okay, and of course, as you well know, after World War II, the Poles kicked out all the Lutheran Germans from that area and made them go back to Germany. So a lot of their records left, okay? And they can be found, but the records can be found, from what I understand. I have not looked for them yet, but they can be found at the Polish archives, okay, in that area. There's a very good, if they came from Prussia, chances are, very strong chance, they were Lutheran, okay, evangelical Lutheran. And there are very good church records on both Ancestry and Family Search probably being better, okay, where they have the birth, or baptism rather, and then it's birth, marriage, and death records for the family, if you know the church, okay? Unfortunately, they're not at this point, or at least when I looked, which was about 1.5 years ago, they were not indexed yet. So you had to browse the records, okay? But you know, the family search is very, very, very active in indexing everything now. If you have any indication of what the town was, there is a
It's Cologne.
it's Cologne, but okay.
Well, near Cologne, whatever.
Okay, near Cologne. That, boy, that's going to be German. Okay, that is Cologne is always. But if you can be sure that it's K or COL, what GNE, however you pronounce it.
GNE, but
Yeah.
it's also CLON and KOLN.
Yeah, yeah. You might try Cartmeister. Have you heard of
What?
that? Cartmeister. It's a database. It's KARTMEISTER, I believe. I can look it up real quick.
Okay.
And that will give you, you can put in a name of a town today, and it will give you the old time, hopefully, the old German name as well as the old Polish name. And it'll also give you the old Catholic and the old Lutheran church name. And then once you have that, then you can go into the way the church records are set up is that you go to a district and you can get this district by knowing where the town is, and you look at a map from the area that you want to go to, and you go to the, if you're looking for a map, go to, I think it's David Ramsey's maps, and he has a lot of old time maps, and you can look up the area, the district that it was in. For example, my district that I was in was Gieffenberg, okay? And that lists all the parishes, both Catholic and Protestant parishes. I will grant you the Lutheran records are better than the Catholic ones at this point. And then you can see for a time period, say 18 whatever to whatever, okay? You can look for those records for that parish, okay? Now, and that's up until 1871, okay? 1871, it becomes more difficult because in 1871, that's when the German Confederation started, and Bismarck was putting all the places together, and then it became where you had to have public registration.
I need it before 1850.
Okay, well then you can
Also,
go to
I have a problem with the name.
Yeah, okay. Well, you may have to.
They Americanized his name. It was Henry, which could be Heinrich, I suppose, Pleck, and it's a very odd name here. And the only other place it occurs is England, which has nothing to do other than the symbolism with the name.
Have you found his passenger records yet and his naturalization records?
There is none for a passenger because he's a draft deserter, as was typical of most Germans at that time. They just got the hell out of
it. Right. They wanted to get out, and
he
so they
stowed
didn't
away on the boat in a potato sack. The Germans went through and stuck the potato sacks, and they missed him.
Is that a family legend?
Family legend, Peg Kellner. Did you know Peg? Kellner Drugstore, where Dancing Bear is?
Okay.
Black, and she's the one that told me that. But on the Irish part of us, she got that wrong too, because she said we were born in County Cork, which sounds very Irish, but it was really County Louth, Louth, and she had the city right. But no, Peg would, and that got distributed to 200 of the short ancestors, and yeah, Peg could have been wrong.
Okay, so.
But it's a legend, and repeat the legend, not the fact.
And he ended up in Milwaukee?
Milwaukee. Well, he was a good friend of Solomon Juneau.
Oh, yeah.
In Milwaukee, he had a trading post. He came up to Door County, married a fairly reputable gal down there, came up here to Bailey's Harbor, and they pretty well founded Bailey's Harbor. And although he was a farmer, 100-acre farm at Bullshit Corners, he arranged for a lot of the shipping to Bailey's Harbor where they took out all the timber because they were such good friends with Solomon Juneau.
So do you know what year he came over? Or
Yeah,
you're estimating?
I think like 1848. Off the top of my head, I've got it written down.
And do you know what port he came through or any of that? Ship log?
All I know is he got to Milwaukee 1848. I got no idea where they, because I was told by Peg that I'm not going to find it. He's a stowaway.
Okay. Have you been to
They'd have that.
the Milwaukee County Genealogy Society yet? They have a lot of great records. Have you contacted them?
Oh,
Try also, if he's Lutheran, Grace Lutheran Church is where the Germans were. I have an ancestor who ended up in Milwaukee in 1848, 49. And we have letters written to him in Milwaukee under his name in Milwaukee, and we still have those letters.
oh really?
Yeah.
And
He ended up going to Fond du Lac, but he was involved. We have the letters are the different Germans talking about forming the Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Church, Wells.
Oh yeah.
These were the beginning people because they're all mentioned where they're going to find places to live in the letters. We had them translated from current. So I know that he was married in Grace Lutheran Church. The original church is gone, but they still are there, the group, and they have a newer church.
Well,
And they found the marriage records for us, so you might.
My brother-in-law is on my wife's side. There was Lutherans there too, and he has done a lot of research on them. But that was Pomerania. Now that was Germany, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Pomerania Society is a big deal in Milwaukee.
Yeah, yeah.
But that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm doing. I know
I'd write to Grace Lutheran Church and just see if they have any records of him.
Grace Lutheran Church in Milwaukee?
Yeah.
And also check with the Genealogy Society there in Milwaukee.
Well, he would have got married in Milwaukee, I believe, to Mary Jane Amrine. And I know, I looked it up. The house that she was born in or something is still in Milwaukee. It's still there.
Wow. There is they found a box of marriage records somewhere in Milwaukee, and they've digitized them. It's not necessarily going to have your guys, but they did digitize these old Milwaukee marriage records. I think I put them on the library website genealogy page.
Okay.
But you could just.
I guess we get Laura.
Yes.
Marriage record's what I need. Yeah.
Somebody else is trying to get in. Steve Osterhouse.
Oh yes. You're right. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
I've been watching, and then I look away for a minute.
He sent me a note. That's how come I knew.
I won't be able to stay the whole time. I've got some other things, but I wanted to see what you guys were doing too. And this has been extremely helpful so far.
Okay. What else?
Oh, yeah, on the name. Do you know anything about German names? How can I look up a last name that I've got that's anglicized to see what the variants could be in German?
Yeah.
Plex
There
you're
is.
talking about again?
Yeah, Katie Deutsch. Do you know who that was? Katie Deutsch? Okay.
Not really.
A little while ago, but she was president of the Dorkan Historical Society or something like that at one point. But she said it was Plagge, Plagge, and Pluck. It's Plaque, Pleck, but I'm sure that's been Americanized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is websites out there that have that.
There are.
Yeah, I would just try Googling it first and see what you get. But
I get England the whole time because there's a place in Wausau called Pluck.
Oh well.
The cows means a place where the cows move around in like dogs and deer to settle down on a spot. But that has nothing. That's German, but that's got nothing to do with England.
Have you done DNA at all?
What?
Any DNA?
DNA? Well, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
I'm a little afraid to.
Well, one interesting thing in this, my heritage is a European base. Well, they're starting in Israel. There's more Europeans using that site than Ancestry in many ways.
Yeah.
For example, you don't have to do the DNA. You can just, if you can look at the site, there's a guy there who has my dad and my family, and he's in Czechoslovakia.
Oh.
And his family tree has my family. And I tried to find him. I finally found the son on Facebook, just through the name. And I asked him, and he said he didn't do it. It's his mother who made the tree. And his mother doesn't, we wish we had the actual records that she has proof we're connected, but it's impossible to really get that point across. But they have my whole family in there.
Wonderful.
So there's, when I did the DNA, I noticed there's tons of people from Europe, all over Europe, that I just don't see on Ancestry. So you might just start looking around My Heritage, to see if your German families are there.
That's on the library website?
It's no longer, we used to have a subscription, but we no longer do. But sometimes you can sort of poke around and find things, even if you can't see the records.
Okay.
This is Steve Osterhouse, and I'm a little late, but as an adjunct, hi. Check Dick Eastman's site. He had something not too long ago.
Who's that? Dick Eastman?
Yeah, Richard Eastman. He has a blog that he runs every week. And he had something, Tom, I don't know if you saw it, it's probably a few months ago now, exactly on German translations and so forth. And he works with My Heritage, as Laura was saying. So you might want to check that site out. He's got a lot of great links that you can follow.
How do you find him?
Just look up Richard Eastman.
Or just Dick Eastman blog.
On Google?
Eastman, EASTMAN.
Yeah, Google?
Yeah.
Just looking here. Maybe I can find something for you.
I just want to know where I'd look.
Hey, Steve, I gave you that Kartenmeister. I spelled it wrong. Okay, the correct spelling is KARTENMEISTER.com.
Wait. KARTEN.
M, and as in Mary.
M as in Mary.
EISTER. Okay, so
wait,
EISTER.com.
You had Meister, yeah. Well, you missed it. You missed an E.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but here's a page on.
But you missed an E, right? That's it.
Can you see this? I don't know if you can see this.
No,
Probably
can't.
not. I don't know. You probably can't.
Speaker view. Go ahead, try it again.
I don't know if you can see it or not.
Put it up again.
Okay. Can you see that at all? This is the name of it. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, that's the, like for example, it gives a German name, the Polish, Russian name, the county, it even has Jewish faith, how many there are, German province, today's province of where it is, which helps you find it, has a reference to a Google map, Lutheran parish and Catholic parish. So that should be, once you can just narrow down at least maybe the territory, or the province, either today or in the past, maybe that'd be helpful.
Well, Cologne is what I've got.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a Cologne one.
Cologne and Prussia.
What was the other one?
Prussia. That's the
Prussia. Yeah. See,
Cologne
Prussia
and
was,
well, German too, but
after World War II, Prussia was split in two. West Prussia came to Poland, and part of it went to Germany, but then the other, let's see, what river is that? The Oder River, I guess it is.
Yeah,
and then the other one went to Russia. So,
but you got to look through it through the lens of the people that were here and what they remember they were from, and that could have been 30 years ago.
oh yeah,
You can't look at it from the year they say it.
And they changed the name.
yeah.
They
Didn't know. I mean, my ancestors they either were from Prussia, Bavaria, or Germany, or Bayern, or Europe. Very helpful.
And they changed
Yeah.
a lot of the names of all the cities too, if they were between
Yeah.
which side of the curtain they were on. And I started digging once, and that was what I ran into, and I said, that's enough of this. That website for Eastman is www.e, Edward as in Edward, O as in other, G as in George, N as in nothing.com.
Oh, EOGN.com. Okay. Got it.
He's got a lot of articles on there and things that you can find that might help.
Got it.
One thing, Steve, one thing you might consider about your family lore about the potato sack is that at some point when the immigrants were coming over here, the United States government put in the law at the customs at either Castle Gardens or April, what was the other name of the place? April Sound or something like that. This is before, before the whatchamacallit that's there now. But anyway, if the immigrant got to the United States and couldn't get through customs, then the ship owner had to take him back to the port in which he left. So that would tell me that the questionable about about the potato sack. Okay.
Oh, that might have happened, but they've been brought back here. You come back again.
It could be, yeah, could be, or that really didn't happen. Maybe when the police went through the ship, he was in the potato sack. But at some point, the owner of the ship, the captain of the ship, or whatever, the first mate or whatever, had to record his name. Now he may have given the wrong name. If he gave the wrong name, then you're going to have to do what they call where you follow people that he was traveling with. So you would go to Milwaukee and find out people that arrived at the same time and see if you have an idea. I mean, these are only ideas.
Yeah.
And see where they came from and who was traveling with them, or at least on the page together. And then you might have an idea of what his name was that he went with. Because he won't lie about his age. He may lie about his name, but he won't. They didn't usually.
I've got a birthday.
You've got a birthday?
I just went to Kartenmeister, and that's a neat site. It's a really neat site.
What was his birth date?
Oh, you would ask. I don't have any of that in front of me.
Okay.
I get mixed up with the Irish. 18. It's either 1815 or 1831. I don't have it right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the stone up at up in Bailey's Harbor at
Okay.
the church there. Church's cemetery. I think 1815.
Okay. So you got hopefully you got a lot of leads now. Or at
That's
least
a lot.
ideas. Don't get lost.
Thank you.
He's sorry he logged in.
I've spent a lot of time on it. It's just that with that last name, it's so unusual, and yet I can't get anywhere on it.
There is it's put out, I think it was put out, it's a series of books. I think it's like 8 or 9 books, hardcover books that I know you don't have it in our library here, but I believe, well, I know they have it down at the
Sturgeon Bay.
Pardon me?
Germans to America, I think it's called.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have it there, do you, Laura? I don't think you do. Do you? I don't think you do, because I've looked for it. The place I found it was down at Watertown, because that was a big place for the Germans to go to when they came in 1840s, was Watertown. But anyway, they have it there at the historic site there, Historic Society. And you might be able to look up or at least look at 1848, the Germans or the people that came to the United States in that year and give you an idea if he's there, you know. That might give you some help.
Right. I've looked at, you know, like, 1831 is when he was
So
born.
he was 17 years old.
He's pretty young.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been draft.
Yeah, he might have been traveling.
He was
by
leaving,
now.
he was getting out of the country because they was going to get killed in the war. And they had no idea why they're fighting the wars. The young people didn't care anymore. They said, this is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that was the awakening. What do they call that? All the supposedly intelligent people.
I got a date. January 11th, 1831.
Wow. That's on his cemetery stone, his
It's
stone.
on androstes.com, but I'm sure that's right.
You never
Died
know,
1950.
there might be
What?
something in a Milwaukee newspaper also when he was there.
Yeah.
We found just a one-liner mentioning our ancestor who, when he died, in the Milwaukee paper, saying a friend of the
Really?
city passed away.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Genealogical Society Museum there is very, very good. They've got a lot of German records, a lot of German stuff.
Well, he's mentioned in History of Door County too, but
Okay.
but the people, he's just in the people that came after the original guys. Captain Joseph Verona, Carl Paschke, Hugh Miller, Henry, it mentioned Pleck anyway.
How do you spell his name? Last name?
Pleca. P as in pudding, L as in love, E as in enough, C as in cat, K as in, I don't know, K.
Steve, I don't know if somebody else had mentioned it earlier, because I kind of got into this later, but there are a couple of sites that will help you take spellings and bring up alternative spellings that may have occurred or intentionally been incurred, transcribed in error. And you might take a name like your Pleck, and you know, I know there's a whole lot of Placks over in outside of Appleton. They spell it Plach. And I've
Right.
found a lot of times that those are just different spellings. They changed it for whatever reasons, but there are some sites that'll help you find lots of variations.
Do you know
Yeah.
any of those sites?
I can't find it. I was just digging through on my phone, and I didn't.
Well,
I don't have
the name
anything.
Pleck doesn't appear very many places, but it does appear in California
Okay,
a little bit.
but it might be spelled differently, and it'll show up somewhere else,
But-
because I know
Oh.
we've got some relatives on my wife's side that we know what the spelling is, but I find it under about 4 different spellings now, because somebody made a mistake 100 years ago in transcribing something that carries on through. So everything you look at has it that way. So just another thought.
That's helpful. Thank you.
We're not any good at finding things, but we can give you lots of
We can
frustration.
give you all kinds of leads, yeah.
We're just frustrated like the rest of us. We hit
Well,
those
now,
blocks.
Steve, you're looking up what, Steve?
I'm not, no, Tom.
Steven, what are you looking at?
Oh, I was trying to find that site, but I couldn't find it. It's,
No, I mean in general.
Kostiki, Kostiki.
And that's nationally.
It's Polish, German.
Is that the same as Kosteczka
I've seen it spelled that way, yes.
or pronounced? That's how I hear it pronounced.
Kosteki is how it's pronounced. And my wife's family, then they changed the name to Brown when they were over here. So when you go to the cemetery, they have this huge plot for the family. Half of it's Browns and half of it's Kostekis, and there is no logic between who is Brown and who is Kosteki. So, but I can't find him. I kind of found him when he comes over on the ship, but I can't find anything out.
Wait, they changed the name?
Yep.
When?
1880s, 1890s.
Could have been 1900.
Could have been.
Yeah, rural free delivery. That's why.
Well, no, it has. From what I read in one of the letters that my wife's aunt had gotten, was that when he went to get a job, nobody could pronounce it and they weren't about to do it. And they were standing in front of a brown wall. So he says, your name is now Brown. And they put it on his work permit and that was the end of it. Supposedly.
That's another one, like.
Where was that family here in Door County, or where did you say?
No, they were in, up in Superior, Wisconsin is where they ended up. But they came in through Pennsylvania. I followed him over on the ship, but I can't find his wife, but she was supposedly with him. And I can't get her name, but I just know her name on the tombstone. It says Mrs. Kostecki.
What was his first
and
name?
in the census report, she's anywhere from Poland, Germany, Sweden, or Norway. That's what she shows her nationality in the different state and federal censuses I found her in. So, but I just get Mary. That's the only name I've been able to come up with. So that's my biggest dead end, but we'll figure it out someday. I've tried to contact people in Pennsylvania because there was a big bunch of them there. And that was where he left from when he ended up out in Colorado of all places. My wife's grandmother was born out there. And then they just followed the railroad back for work and ended up in Superior, Wisconsin. So working in the coal docks. So interesting. So I just found, lots of spellings, lots of different names. And you go through their children. When I find the listing of the children, half of them use Brown, half of them use Kostecki. Why, I do not know. And it's not like the first half did it one way and it was just, I guess it was whoever was hanging out with who.
Wow.
And I've talked to a couple of my wife's relatives, but they just don't know anything about it. And they didn't speak English, so it's really hard to talk to them, I guess.
Did they speak Polish then or German?
Both. I think more Polish because my wife's mother, before she passed away and before she had Alzheimer's, I remember talking to her about it. And she said, they're buried over there someplace. I didn't like them, so I never talked to them. So that was about as much as I got, you know.
Did they live in town or on a farm?
No, they lived in town.
Good.
Hmm.
He died of acute alcoholism.
Have you ever seen the name PLACK? Is that a variant?
Black, it could be. Plaggy is the one that my cousin came up with, Plagge. And there's a lot of variations of Plek, Plock, Black even, but that gets to a lot more common names than the PLECK.
Well, I found a Karl August Heinrich Plack, German, marriage date of 1867 in Pomerania to a Matilda Frederick Augusti Fibrance in the province of, I guess it's Cezanne. That sounds French, but it's not. It's SZCZECIN at the Evangelical Church Saint, oh boy, it must be Jacob Stettin. I could spell that for you. I just did that on Ancestry.
Okay.
And I just put in Henry, I just Googled Henry, or I searched.
But he wouldn't have been over there. He would, what, I'm married in Milwaukee?
Yeah, but that may be a relative is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that could be a relative. So if you could work backwards from him, and let's see if they have a father's name on the marriage thing here. Hold on. It's in German. You read German?
Not really.
No, I don't either. Let's see if they, oh, great. It's also, whoever wrote this wrote it with one of those big, you know, thick quills. So it's extremely hard to read.
Yeah.
You can't even scan it and run it through a translator.
No, because it's so hard to read. Well, I'll forget that. That'd take forever to go through that. Let me try family search. See if I get anything.
Right. I don't know.
Okay, birth 1831.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, let's see what I get. Okay, okay. Okay, how about a Herman Plake as a father and a Maria Keller as a mother?
Maria Heller or Keller?
Keller with a K.
Okay.
He was born October, did you say October 9th? Oh, this
January.
is okay, January. I don't have a January one. But I've got a whole bunch of various spellings I put in familysearch.com just under the general search for Germany. And I
January
got
11th.
126 results. So, but they'd be various spellings of your last name. So,
Right. Okay.
and Family Search is free. So you just go there. You don't have to pay a membership to get into that.
I didn't know.
No, familysearch.org is free. So, so you just go ahead. You just have to put an ID in and away you go. So, but there's 126 entries here.
Who did he marry?
Well,
Jane Amarine. It's spelled in very different ways. This
what
was
was the last name?
the lady.
No,
Yeah.
okay, this isn't it. Never mind.
Amarine. It's spelled spelled a number of different ways. The one I'm looking at now, and that's not the usual one. Aharmine.
What was her first name?
Mary, and then Jane. Amrine. I don't know that that second A is in it. I mean, that's what it says, but it's not how I've seen it. Her father was George Amrine. She was born in Milwaukee. She was born 1843, 1920, but they met in Milwaukee. So,
Well, you might be able to find a marriage record then in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
yeah, that's correct. But
Try Grace Lutheran Church, see if you
And
have.
And hopefully
Try
they
what?
put the parents down.
say that again.
Well, I was saying, you might try Grace Lutheran Church. That's one of the
Okay.
oldest ones in Milwaukee.
Right, right.
Steve, I found another thing I have in one of my folders here, and it goes back a few years here. It was published in the Family Tree magazine,
Okay.
September 2014 issue.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of references to sites about German immigration.
Right.
And there looks like, just on the one page I got here in front of me on my phone, probably about 10 different sites.
Okay.
That might give you some places to start looking, whether all those sites are still valid after 6 years. Sometimes they get merged with somebody, but you just follow the bouncing ball, I guess.
Right.
And it's got a lot about their immigration, and then it goes back into how you find things back from the old country to here.
Yeah, the Amrine is it's on the tombstone and whatever. Amrhein, which sounds German, right?
Yep.
Or it's French. It's like on the border, the Alsace-Lorraine or whatever.
Yeah, Ein is usually German, isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't Ein usually German?
I would think so. Rhein. I before E, except after seeing certain German names, and that's the EI.
Okay. I got a lot of German in my background, and I can't figure it out at all. So, fortunately, somebody's done some of the work for me, so it made it easier.
So, okay, well, that's good. Thank you for that help.
Oh, we got that problem solved. What's the next one?
I can bring you up Irish, but you don't want to hear that.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about Irish. Not a thing.
You put a Norwegian and an Irishman, let's see, and a German in a bag, and you like a bunch of cats, and you get a lot of fights.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah,
And drinking.
you sure do.
I think that MyHeritage has done, if I understand what I've been reading, they're doing a pretty good job on the Irish right now. They seem to have opened up a lot of avenues.
They haven't done County Louth yet. And the only way to get information is to pay for it to the Louth County Genealogical Group.
Oh, okay.
But there's other stuff available from the other counties. And they're adding counties pretty quickly.
For a small country, they got a lot of counties.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of population. They moved, immigrated. Yes. Immigrated to America.
Well, yeah. There's more Irish in America than maybe pretty full Irish than in Ireland, right?
I don't know about that.
I thought I heard that someplace.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them died too, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the first episodes on Who Do You Think You Are was it Kathy Bates, I think it was? And she had our ancestors, and she was able to go back to the poorhouse, found the poorhouse where her ancestors were, you know, during the potato famine. She was able to go back there, and they actually still had the poorhouse there as a monument. You know, they haven't torn it down like everything over here. So that was very moving for her, as it would be for anybody.
Yeah, I think all of Ireland has less than 5 million people, so it doesn't take much to overtake that number.
Well, we have anything special we want to talk about today besides just chatting? I think it's been helpful. Is this how you help people up in the north? Is that how?
Yeah, we just have somebody come in. I mean, they would come in and they'd have a question similar to this, and then we would sit down with them and sit with them and go through on the computer, look up various hopefully sources that they might check, and then hopefully leave them with suggestions where they can go to, you know, do their own research. And sometimes the questions are, we get an answer, and sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're looking for somebody in the last 100 years, and also you jump across it and you got the answer for them, and they walk out with a big smile on their face.
That's right, exactly right.
And there's other times that, like Steve Johnson here, it gets to be a little bit more.
I got to turn that up. It gets
very involved.
Very involved, but you give them a lot, like you said, Tom, just lots of leads. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's what you hope to do, and give them leads. And since they have, you know, access to Ancestry and Family Search there at the library, well, they got Family Search at home anytime, but at the library, then they can hopefully, you know, do their own research and certainly come back, and we'll try to help them again. So I know I helped this one lady. She was, let's see, she was looking for a relative because she was going to go to, where was it? Germany, or was it? Yeah, it must have been Germany. So anyway, she was going to go, and she was going to check on this supposedly ancestor, and she wanted to make sure that this was actually her ancestor before she wasted the time to do that on her trip. And we finally found something for her in a state census back in about 1830 in Virginia that proved that he was an ancestor. And so she was happy.
Yeah.
She was happy. She never came back, but she was happy.
Yeah.
Well, And we get a few new members every so often out of that.
We do occasionally, yeah. We do.
Would you have regular meetings then at the library also, or how did that?
Well, we had one meeting a month, the third Wednesday. We used to meet at Myrma and Don Howard's house, but now we moved to about a year and a half ago or so to the library, and on Wednesdays and in the conference room there, and we just felt that was easier for people to come to, and usually it's about the same 10 or 15 people that show up, 15 at the most. I think the big draw for that was because Myrma always makes goodies, and so
Yeah.
that's the reason why anybody shows up.
Yeah.
All the coffee you can drink and all the goodies you can eat.
All the cookies and cake you can eat.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
It was worth the drive back up there after we moved down here once in a while just to go back for that.
Yeah, just for that. So
So are you?
I'm sorry I missed that.
Now, or?
yeah, and then the other thing that we did is, like I think I put out, is that every other year we would have a 4-week class at the clearing on genealogy, and hopefully go from starting out where you haven't done anything to where you can go out and do your own research. And when our group was a little bit bigger and more active,
And younger.
yeah, we had enough members to where we could assign a student to a member, and so each class there would be an hour where they could sit and the member could mentor them, and that worked out well. But we've kind of run out of members that are willing to do that.
I think that happened in the PGS here in
Yeah.
They just got
People,
wandered off.
Well, yeah, they got older too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Older and less.
Yeah, they got older, and I think
Burned out.
this is also, I think this is, Laura, I think this is a very good idea to run it through the library like this, because we got to somehow, get more or younger people involved, and this is, I think that's a good way of doing it, is making it available at the library, like you are, especially with Zoom now. I think that's a real good idea.
I think we just have to figure out a way to attract the people we want to attract.
Right. Yeah. And the other question that came up for us was, should we be having our meetings at night? And I don't know. When our group it used to be, our group was, everybody was retired, and now most of those people have not most of them, several of them have retired, and it's obviously hard for somebody to come to a daily meeting during the day. For example, this meeting here, there's a couple of people in our group that would like to attend, but they're working still. They're involved with jobs. So it's hard to figure it out.
Maybe, I don't know, I don't know if it helps if people are able to touch base with maybe somebody at the library and say, here's what I'd like to have somebody help me with. And they might,
I was thinking of making
show up to something more like this virtual if they know that they got somebody that's going to address their specifics.
I was thinking we could even do some sort of Facebook page or some sort of thing like that, a written thing, so people could go and ask questions that way, and they didn't have to actually be there to get help.
Oh yeah, I think anyway that work is actually kind of easier if you can sit by yourself and work on it rather than have somebody right there with you, because then you gotta, because you don't always go down the right path, and so
you got to keep it within reason too. It's like you spend hours on these things real fast.
Yeah, you got to back up. It goes very fast. Look, we already been here an hour here, so it goes really fast.
Laura, do you get just the 40 minutes doing this, or?
No, the library, since we're doing everything now with Zoom, we purchased a subscription for the library.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have we don't have much choice considering that we can't have meetings in the library anymore of groups, big groups. So we're doing a lot with this, all of the book discussions and everything.
How do those work? Pretty good?
Yeah, it's kind of fun because the authors often show up.
Oh,
That's
Cool.
nice.
And we had a
Yeah, that's-
really interesting history book discussion not too long ago, and the author came.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So have you got William Kent Kruger to show up yet?
No, but we did Door County Reads with him a couple years back,
Oh, did you? Okay.
and he came for that. Yeah.
And what's his name? Who's the actor that was in Monk? Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh
From
what
Green
is
Bay.
his name? Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big Lebanese group that settled in Green Bay.
Oh,
Fairla, who had the liquor stores, and the Shalhoubs, and there's a whole bunch of.
Ferris,
no, I didn't realize that. I didn't
fact-
think.
isn't there a Farah that's a chiropractor here just south of town?
Could be, I don't know.
That
Yeah.
chiropractor just south of town.
Yeah,
And, yeah, Tony was also in Men in Black.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a two-headed guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He was at the auditorium a few years ago and he did a presentation and we went to that. It was kind of interesting.
well, I remember when they made that movie up here in Door County. Do you remember
Yeah.
that a few years ago?
Mhm.
I had to go with someone, Cheryl Wilson, to fix we went to Sister Bay Library. It was closed to work on the computers or something. And we ordered lunch from somewhere and they said, "Are you from the movie group? They don't pay their bill." That left a sort of uneasy taste with me.
Now, did you guys decide when to do this again?
Well, we have it scheduled to do it again on the same time. Do you think we should switch the times? It's a little harder for me to do it at night, but I could maybe figure it out.
No, I would wait and see if you start getting any inquiries, about doing it at night. Otherwise, well, obviously this works fine for me, but.
Well, it's more also, I tried to find the Peninsula Genealogical Society email list, and Jenny Hain and Mary Groda and everyone said they didn't have it. Do you have it, Steve? If we could tell those people, they might
Well,
be interested.
Jennifer Lewandowski is the one that you might want in the group. You know Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
I kind of have it because they sent me emails and I've saved all of them.
Yeah, I
But
was trying to find some of that.
there was an unwritten rule not to give it to people.
Yeah,
So
other
they
people,
don't touch email. The Grotas are on it.
Yeah.
Grota.
Well, I contacted Mary and
John Ellenbecker.
yeah, Ellen Becker. Yeah.
John.
I did contact a couple of them and they said they didn't have the time. Maybe they just didn't want to deal with Zoom. I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking Jennifer, doesn't she work during the day at
I thought
the
her husband was.
chamber? Huh?
Wasn't her husband retiring? I don't know if she
Yeah,
was.
but Jennifer worked at the chamber.
Yeah. Well, I'll see if I can find her. Yeah.
No,
Jennifer
yeah,
was really active.
Yeah.
the summer can be tough too.
But
because people-
I can't just give it out because
No, I know.
if you know those
I have
people, you
those
know
same
that
emails somewhere.
they're jealous of their emails.
Yes.
Yeah. I have those same emails hidden somewhere in my email. I just have to track
But
them.
I can give you the names,
Yeah. So it would be a matter of trying to contact people who might like to join us.
Oh,
Right now,
and there was, I think Mary Strands, Joyce Strands' daughter. That's Robertson's, that's out by Shiloh. She's a lot younger and she's available all day long.
Okay.
It's under Joyce Strands. I can tell you the phone number later if you want it.
Yeah. Well, so I do have it scheduled for July every other week, the way we've done. Does that work out for everyone? We'll try it in
Sure.
July and see what happens.
So that would be the 9th of July or the 16th?
I have it on the calendar.
I think it's the 9th. I think I have it on my phone.
I can switch it around, but I tentatively went and put it on the calendar. Let's see.
Looks like it'd be the 9th, huh?
The 9th is, I
23rd.
don't have it on my phone, but yeah, the 9th would be 2 weeks.
Now, the only
Nine-
problem is you
Yeah.
do get less people during the summer because people are out boating or whatever they're
Oh, yeah.
doing. And I know we do that on nice days. A lot of times I won't be around. We'll be out
Should
on
we
boat.
try in the morning, maybe 10 o'clock? People less
Works for me.
Doesn't matter.
Should I
Yeah.
switch to 10 o'clock in the morning?
I might still be in my pajamas, but
Are you talking about the 9th?
Yeah, it's scheduled for the 9th at 2 o'clock, but we could try 10 o'clock instead.
Well, you can do that. I can't make it. I got a doctor's appointment at 9. It's the only thing I got the whole time, but go ahead and do it if you want. I won't be here.
Can you make it to 2 o'clock, Steve?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
but
do that too.
just do the 9th. Go ahead, at 9 o'clock, I mean.
Okay.
I might be able to make it, it might be over, it's a quick appointment, so might be able to come in a few minutes late.
You can do a Zoom. You can do a Zoom doctor's appointment. Have you done that yet? I did that.
Hey,
My doctor.
this hit and they closed the hospital?
Yeah, well, no, this was up in.
Goody. My colonoscopy's off. I walked in an empty hospital and they did it. They said, no, we're doing yours.
Hey, that's okay.
So I know how to do that.
Let's leave it at 2 o'clock for now, because I see there would be a conflict with another program. But we'll do it through July then and see what happens and maybe make a change for once we get past the summer. If you want to.
Yeah, and what else, other ways can we get this out to people, do you think? Is it do any good to put, I think the Pulse still lets you put community meetings in there for free, I believe.
Well, we have it listed in all of our press releases and everything.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
on the
one
radio,
thing
I
is,
heard it on the radio.
you can get it on community calendar on WDOR.
Oh, okay.
It's at 8:25 and whatever. The advantage to that is they have almost nothing on now because everything's shut up. So I listened to this morning, they only had 3 announcements.
Wow.
743-4411, just put it on and they'll put it on.
No, I heard the announcement on, I think it was WDOR this morning around, I would say 10:15, 10:30.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
So
You heard about this or,
this one,
yeah,
today.
it was on WDOR, yes.
okay.
Good.
Actually.
That's
So that
good.
would be Morgan Mann putting it out in our press releases, and she
Yeah.
does Facebook too.
Well, actually, she might have been a guest, wasn't she? Just
She
recently.
probably was. She does.
That's how it got on probably too.
Yeah,
She probably
So-
told her what's coming up.
yeah. We could reach out to the Belgian group too. There's a lot of those. There's some sort of organization. See if anyone's interested. So,
Yeah, there's also the Gibraltar, they're fairly active, I think, historical, and same way with
Bailey's
Liberty
Harbor.
Grove. I think Liberty
Harbor has
Grove,
one,
Ephraim has one.
yeah.
and the Belgian American Club. Is that Shudwar? And Barb Chisholm.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I'll see if I can reach more people, but if you
Okay.
know anyone, let them know too.
Okay.
Laura, I do have a listing of emails, addresses, which has been, not sure where I got this from, but it's from supposedly Peninsula Genealogy Group, so,
Yeah, that's probably the same list.
yeah, okay, all right. It's probably,
I don't care if you use it, I'm just saying I can't give it.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm not sure where I got, who gave me this? Maybe you gave me this, I don't know, Laura. Your name is on there, and Jenny Hahn is on there.
yeah.
Is,
As I see, I
Steve?
contacted a couple of them and they said they were busy, which
yeah,
is
Steve,
disappointing.
yeah, Steve's name is on there, and so is Jennifer Lewandowski or something like that. What is that? Lewandowski? Is that-
That's-
That's the news director retired.
Yeah, Mary Strong.
And Mary, that's the one that's trans. What does it say? Mary what?
Mary Schranz,
Yeah.
Schranz.
Yeah, she's younger and she'd be a good one.
Okay.
Okay.
She's
You want her email? Do you have her email? I have it here.
I
if you
probably
want it.
have it. If you can forward that to me.
Sure, I will figure out how
I
to
just
forward
have
this.
to find them all.
It's in the contact list of my AOL, so I
Okay.
gotta figure out how to do that.
Well, I'll see. I know I should be able to, I should have some of those old emails somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'll try to
Okay.
track those down.
And let's see. Well, I can send you the list of people in our group that I send
You
out.
send it out to your group anyway, right?
Yeah, I sent it out to our group. So,
Yeah.
which includes some of the people on that Peninsula genealogy list, but not everybody. I tried to go through that and just include the ones that actually did contact me, and say they wanted to notify.
Facebook might work if it's not on it.
Yeah.
I think Morgan does put something there, but I'm thinking we could do more with that.
Well, I did younger people with such a one.
I could ask the history groups to maybe say something, different history groups. So, okay, well, maybe we should wrap it up. It's just over an
Okay.
hour.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
great. This is great.
I gotta leave. Nice
Yep.
being with you.
Bye.
Good. Well,
All right,
nothing
Laura,
else new, huh?
this is very good, Laura. I'm glad you came up with the idea. This is excellent.
Yeah, I hope we can build up, because I miss the old PGS meetings. I went to
Yeah.
a bunch of them,
And then once we get things settled, we can let you talk about DNA.
that's my favorite subject.
That her
Extra
expertise?
DNA. I have my wife's grandfather on the male side was adopted. Well, he really wasn't adopted. He was an orphan.
Mhm.
And he took the name of the family he went to live with at probably age about 12 or less, 10 probably. And he never ever said what his real name was.
Does he
And
know? Did he know?
I don't know. And he's been dead for 20 years, if not more, 25 years, maybe even 30. And the interesting thing is that this is in Oklahoma. And one of the interesting things is that the man who took him in, who was like 65, 70 years old when he took him in, when he died, he did not recognize Tom. His name was, or John rather, his name was John, in his will, did not recognize him.
Wow.
So he must not have adopted him,
Mhm.
And so I don't know.
A friend of
But
mine just found out her grandfather was not her grandfather.
Yeah.
Through her son doing DNA.
Yeah, and there's no male, haven't found any male, descendants that we can get a DNA from. So,
Yeah.
but it could be one of the things the latest things that we're looking at is whether or not he was on the orphan train. And he
Yeah.
could have been on the orphan train.
Do they have a name for those?
Well, that's supposedly there is a register in at the Orphan Train Museum, which is in near Kansas City, Concordia. I think it's Concordia, Kansas. And supposedly, but they don't have it online. You got to go there. And of course, with everything closed, I haven't gone there yet. But it'd be interesting.
Who is this now? You said your wife?
This was my wife's grandfather on her father's side, fraternal grandfather. So yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we have to make this connection, because then I can keep razzing her about that her ancestors owned slaves. So
Well,
There
she
you
can
go.
do the DNA test and find out who comes close.
well, that's just it. She has done the DNA, and
And
none
you-
of that. His last name is Foster, okay, and none of the Foster ancestors show up on DNA, okay, on her DNA, okay.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of names I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Depends on how close they are too, you know.
yeah, well, exactly, right,
know.
right. Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to know.
Maybe I don't.
Well, and
But at
my
least he
no,
doesn't have, which is unfortunate, if since he's from Oklahoma or lived in Oklahoma, maybe he was, he was American Indian, but there's no Indian blood in my wife, so
yeah. So that
that doesn't work.
And my wife was always told she had Indian blood in her, and when we did the DNA, nothing showed up.
No.
So
yeah, a lot of myths like that.
yeah, another wild tale of
Yeah.
Was she
somebody,
she
somebody's
was
perpetuating the story of running into the teepee at night, I guess. So
yeah. Was she a Cherokee princess?
yes, that's what she supposedly was. Yes,
Oh, really?
I
Like
don't know
what's her
about the princess
Warren?
part, but
like Elizabeth Warren?
I know
That was so funny.
nothing
She
showed
said
up.
she was a Cherokee princess, and the Cherokee said, "We don't want. She's not a part of us." That was hilarious.
Actually, there's a book by Brian Sykes. He's from, is he Cambridge or Oxford? He wrote that book on the 8 whatever daughters of Eve. He has a book on DNA USA is the title,
Mhm.
and he said
Oh.
most New Englanders believe they have Native American heritage.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't, and most Southerners think they have no Black heritage, and they do.
And
Just
they
about
do.
all of
Yeah,
them.
Yeah,
they probably all do. Yeah.
yeah.
Just about
Well,
all of them.
even you saw. I don't know if you remember. Henry Louis Gates found out that he had white blood, and he actually
Yeah.
went to their family reunion.
I saw
And
that.
he,
Yeah.
I didn't see
Yeah.
that episode.
Randy
Yeah.
put up there was
Yeah.
like 50 people, and there was only one white in there or something.
He was
Yeah.
he was the only black man there. Yeah, and he went there. We found out, and they filmed it. And of
Well, I
course,
think
I thought,
Obama's related to Jefferson Davis,
yeah,
which is kind of funny,
yeah, that is.
through his mother.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson has a few
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
prodigy out there too.
Yeah, he has a little. I'm sure they all do.
Yeah.
Everybody does. Things were a little bit different then. So.
Well, maybe not.
Hey, well, this is great. Let's do it again.
Sounds
okay,
fine. See y'all in a couple of weeks.
all
We'll
right,
see you
thanks for
tonight.
coming.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks.